I wanted to go over this theory for some time, but I didn't have a proper understanding of it, so I couldn't properly debunk it or really talk about it in any meaningful way. And there's going to be a lot of, not necessarily math, but you're going to be looking at a lot of graphics in this video, so if you're not ready for that, I apologize. But we're going to be talking about the website theory, which is one of the theories that have been trying to guess the final roster for Jump Force. And the reason why that's so important is because it affects the rest of your predictions. If you think there's going to be an 80 character roster, additional big 3 characters, more Bleach characters, all of this seems much more likely. Characters like Yoruichi, characters like Sakura, all of these characters seem way more likely if you think there's going to be a larger roster. So that's why you need to get a good estimate of what the roster is going to be. Currently, I don't actually know what we're at. I think we're at like 42 or something like that, something pretty close to that. So guessing the number of remaining characters is much more important than guessing the actual characters themselves, because if you just try to guess the characters themselves and then the number, well, then it becomes much more difficult. So there's a few different theories going around for what the final roster is going to look like, some of which I wouldn't even really call theories. There's the Yonko, quote-unquote, theory. Yonko is a prominent leaker in the community, and he says that there are 12 more characters to go in Jump Force. Since then, 7 have been announced, if you count Dio, which has not been officially announced, but Yonko says that he's in the game, so he's probably in the game. There's the theory that gets you to exactly 50 characters for the 50th anniversary, which would be about 3 or 2 more characters than the Yonko theory, I forget. Then there's the website theory, which gets you at about 17 more-ish characters, which would be around 60, and that's it. Obviously, the website theory is a big standout here. It's so much higher than either of the 2 previous theories. And with so little time between now and launch, 17 characters, I think we can all admit, sounds a little bit outlandish. So I wanted to dive deep into what exactly the website theory is and explain why I think it's bogus, because I don't think anyone in the community is really talking about the counter arguments to the website theory. They're just saying whether they believe it or not. So here are my counter arguments to the website theory. So the website theory basically comes from looking at the source code of said website. Each character in the website is categorized and given a serial number. This is to help organize them. Here is a few examples. Light Yagami, who is a story mode only character and still on the website, his serial number is E2A36094. Kenshiro is E5CK6QH8. And Sasuke, who is E7XKRQS5. The important part here is the beginning, the E part, which I would describe as a type of folder for the purpose of this video. Imagine it as a folder. So you've seen the E folder, let's have a look at the Y folder. The Y folder contains Yugi and Renji. I won't bother reading out the serial numbers because I'm sure you get the idea at this point. The idea is that each of these letters or folders are going to contain a maximum of 3 characters, because that's what we've seen so far, and eventually those 3 character folders will fill up the website in its entirety. So there are 26 letters in the alphabet, A to Z, and there are currently a maximum of 3 characters per letter. This would allow the character slots on the website to be 78. That's of course minus the slots on the website that are reserved for DLC, story characters, and etc. So for the sake of this video, let's consider that 13-ish characters, because you've got Light, Galena, Kane, Glover, and then 9 DLC. That puts the final roster at 65-ish characters, not including story characters. And without breaking down the technical side, you may have already noticed that there's a problem with that roster size. With only 40-ish characters being announced right now, going all the way up to 65 before launch, which is in almost 2 weeks now, you would need an additional 18 or so characters. But let's just assume the theory is right for now and break it down a little bit. Maybe some of you out there are actually good enough at math, you've already noticed the problem with this particular theory, or maybe you're just incredibly observant. So let's have a look at the website, and we're going to try and plug our 5 character theory into the website. So let's add Kane, let's add Galena, let's add Glover. I'm not going to add the navigator, the little robot thing, because I think that might just be a sub thing for Glover, similar to how Ryuk is just a sub thing for Light, but I don't know yet, but I'm sure the rest of these characters will be added to the website at some point. Let's add Dai, who was recently announced. Let's add Jotaro, who was recently shown in an Instagram ad, so we're assuming that he's in the game. And let's add Dio, who Yonko Productions recently claimed is in the game. From here, we can add our 5 base roster characters. Let's call them Goku as a token anime character. And finally, we can add our DLC. Oh, but wait, we don't have room for DLC. We don't have enough. We've only got 3 slots remaining, and there should be 9 DLC characters in the game. This is likely why the website code or base code or source code contains these alphabetical quote-unquote folders that contain a maximum of 3 characters, because you would need 3 rows on this graphic to be able to contain the 12 character theory, and the 12 character theory is the most conservative of all the theories, because even when you count up all of the characters from the Yonko quote-unquote theory, you get to 45. On top of that, you have to add Light Yagami, a story-only character, Glover, Kane, Galena, and possibly even Navigator, who all need a spot on the website. Then you add the 9 DLC characters, and that puts us up to a total of 57 characters. So the website has to have a maximum of 3 characters per folder to be able to fit everyone, because each folder is a letter of the alphabet. The alphabet is 26 letters long. If there's just 2 characters per letter or folder, the maximum amount of characters you would be able to fit onto the website would be 52. 5 short of our current math. On top of that, I think that if there was going to be more than 12 characters on that base roster, or in this case there's 5 because 7 of them have been quote-unquote announced, I think Yonko Productions would probably know about it. I'm not sure what position Yonko Productions is in. I don't know how he gets his information, but it's always accurate. The fact that he has continued to not waver on the number 12 is evidence enough for me to assume that the number 12 is correct. If you count Dio, 7 characters of those 12 have been announced, so that means there are 5 characters on the way, assuming that Galena wasn't one of them, and if Galena was one of those 5, I think Yonko Productions would have told us about it. In fact, Yonko Productions has even gone further than just that 12. He's been updating us with the 12. He's now said 6 out of 12. He hasn't updated it since he said Dio, because I'm sure he's not counting that as an announced character, and it makes it pretty hard to doubt that the remaining roster for Jump Force is just 5 characters, which personally I'm pretty happy with. 47 playable characters in this game with this art style, in this engine, when it's the first in what hopefully becomes a series, a game with a vast creator character system. Jump Force has clearly aimed to impress, and for me at least, it's hit the target. One more thing I do want to say before I go: the people who believe this theory say that the reason the 12 character theory doesn't plug into the website and that there are still remaining slots is that the DLC would not be included on this roster page. But as far as past Bandai Namco games have gone, all of them have added the DLC characters both onto a separate page and on the roster page. The only game that did not do this was My Hero 1's Justice. So take that how you would. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you could subscribe to keep up to date with future content, that's very much appreciated. Leave a like on the video. It helps other people find it, which I think is very important for this particular video, because I don't want people to get their hopes up leading up to the release of Jump Force. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. My name has been Bilbzy, and I will see you in the next video.